Listen to me. Every single one of you has been gifted something special, something that nobody else on this planet can bring the way you can. But here's the problem. You can't hear it. You can't see it. You can't feel it because there's too much noise in your life. The noise of excuses, the noise of doubt, the noise of people who told you you're not good enough, the noise of comparison, scrolling and watching everybody else live instead of living your own life. That noise is drowning out the sound of your greatness. You've got to make a decision today. Kill the noise. Shut it down. Turn it off. Stop letting distractions rob you of your destiny. See, greatness doesn't come when everything's quiet around you. Greatness comes when everything inside of you is louder than the world outside of you. You got to get to a place where your vision, your hunger, your purpose speaks so loud that the noise doesn't matter anymore. I'm telling you, you will never embrace your greatness until you learn to silence the voices that don't matter. Some of you keep waiting for people to clap for you, but they won't. Some of you keep waiting for perfect conditions, but they won't come. You've got to clap for yourself. You've got to push yourself. You've got to tell yourself, I'm built for this. Kill the noise of negativity. Kill the noise of excuses. Kill the noise of fear. And when you do that, when you strip away everything that doesn't serve you, you will find the greatness that's been inside you all along. So I'm asking you right now, what's stopping you right now? What's stopping you? Is it their opinion? Kill it. Is it your past? Kill it. Is it your comfort zone? Kill it. Because once the noise is gone, you'll finally hear the truth. You were born for greatness. You were designed for impact. You were created to do something that no one else can do. The question is, are you willing to kill the noise long enough to embrace it? From the moment you were born, you were given something special. You might not believe it right now because life has beaten you up, because people told you otherwise, or because you've been surrounded by negativity for so long that you can't even recognize the gift inside of you. But I came to tell you today, you've already got it. You don't need to buy it. You don't need to borrow it. You don't need someone to hand it to. Greatness is already in you. The problem is not that you don't have it. The problem is that you can't hear it. You can't see it. You can't feel it. You can't feel it. And the reason is because there's too much noise around you. And that noise is drowning out the sound of your greatness. You wake up in the morning, and the first thing you do is pick up your phone. Scroll, scroll, scroll. You're looking at somebody else's life, somebody else's highlight reel, and you start comparing your behind the scenes to their big moments. That's noise. You get in the car, turn on the radio, it's gossip, it's drama, it's negativity. That's noise. You get around people, and instead of speaking life into you, they tell you what you can't do, why you'll never make it, why you're too late, too young, too broke, too unqualified. That's noise. And the saddest part is, after a while, you start believing the noise more than you believe the truth that's inside of you. See, you don't need the world to hand you greatness. You were born with it. It's sitting there like a seed, waiting for the right conditions to grow. But if you surround a seed with weeds, with rocks, with toxins, it doesn't matter how powerful that seed is, it won't grow. Some of you think you're broken, you think you're average, you think you got nothing special, but that's not the truth. The truth is you've let too many weeds grow around your greatness. You let too many rocks pile up. And now the greatness is buried under distractions, negativity, excuses. You've got to kill the noise if you want to hear the greatness that's been calling your name. And the noise isn't always external. Sometimes the loudest noise is coming from inside your own head. The voice that tells you you're not good enough. The voice that reminds you of every mistake you've ever made. The voice that says you'll never make it out. That voice is lying to you. That voice is the enemy of your destiny. And as long as you keep listening to it, you'll never tap into the power you were born with. Listen to me. Greatness is not about what you own, what car you drive, or how many followers you have. Greatness is about fulfilling a purpose that only you can fulfill. Nobody else can do what you were designed to do. You can copy somebody's style, you can imitate somebody's path, but you will never reach true greatness until you embrace your own gift. And the world is waiting on it. There are people who will never find healing until you step into your calling. There are people who will never be inspired until you tell your story. There are lives that will never change until you decide that you're done listening to the noise and you're ready to live out your greatness. The challenge is this: greatness doesn't scream at you, it whispers. It speaks in quiet moments when you're still, when you're alone, when you dare to dream. But most of us never get quiet long enough to hear it. We're too busy running from one distraction to the next. Netflix, scrolling, partying, hanging out with people who don't even care about their own future, let alone yours. The greatness inside you is talking, but you drowned it out with everything that doesn't matter. That's why discipline is so powerful. Discipline isn't just about waking up early or grinding. It's about creating space to hear your own greatness. When you cut out distractions, when you stop wasting your time, when you choose to separate from the crowd, you give yourself permission to hear the greatness inside. And when you hear it, you'll know it, because it won't sound like fear. It won't sound like doubt. It'll sound like possibility. It'll sound like passion. It'll sound like destiny. And I'm telling you, once you hear it, you can't unhear it. Once you taste what you were designed to be, you can't go back to average. You can't go back to mediocrity. You'll be ruined for ordinary because your soul will crave extraordinary. But you'll never get there as long as you let the noise stay louder than your vision. There's somebody listening to this right now who has dreams buried inside of them. You wanted to write the book, but you stopped because someone told you nobody would read it. You want to start the business, but you quit because someone told you the market was too crowded. The market was too crowded. You wanted to step into leadership, but you stayed in the shadows because somebody said you didn't have what it takes. And you believed them. You believed the noise more than you believed the greatness inside you. I need you to understand, other people's opinions don't determine your destiny. Their doubt doesn't disqualify your gift. Just because they can't see it doesn't mean it isn't real. Some people can't recognize greatness because they gave up on their own. They let the noise defeat them, so now they want you to believe that your destiny isn't possible either. But you've got to reject it. You've got to tell yourself, I know there's more in me. I know I was built for more than this. I know I was designed to impact, to inspire, to change the world. You got to fight for your greatness. It's not going to be easy. Every single day, the noise will try to pull you back. Every single day, distractions will compete for your attention. But if you want what's inside of you to shine, you got to discipline yourself to push past it. You got to wake up and say, no more. Today, I choose purpose over distraction. Today, I choose faith over fear. Today, I choose greatness over average. When you do that, something shifts inside of you. You stop waiting for the perfect time because you realize the time is now. You stop waiting for people to support you because you realize you got enough strength inside to support yourself. You stop looking for signs because you realize you were the sign all along. And that's when the greatness inside of you starts to come alive. So don't tell me you don't have what it takes. Don't tell me you're not special. Don't tell me you're not gifted. You've already got it. It's already there. You were born with greatness. The only question is, are you willing to silence the noise long enough to let it out? Noise isn't always about sound. Noise is anything in your life that takes your eyes off the prize. Anything that distracts you from the vision you said you want. Anything that pulls your energy away from the mission you were born to complete. See, most people think noise is just people talking, the haters, the doubters, the negative comments. And yes, that's part of it, but noise is bigger than that. Noise is every single thing that steals your focus, that robs your time, that makes you forget who you are and what you said you want. Some of you can't see your greatness, not because you don't have it, but because your focus is scattered in 1,000 directions. You got dreams on the inside, but you're too busy giving your energy to distractions on the outside. Noise looks like the hours you spend scrolling social media, looking at somebody else's life, feeding on their highlight reel while your own vision is starving. Noise looks like binge watching shows when you told yourself you were going to start your business. Noise looks like hanging around people who don't have any drive, but you let them set the pace for your life. Noise looks like saying yes to everything when deep down, you know every yes to nonsense a no to your destiny. Focus is the currency of greatness. Whatever you give your focus to will grow. If you give your focus to negativity, it will grow. If you give your focus to excuses, they will grow. If you give your focus to distractions, they will take over. But if you give your focus to your vision, your dream, your craft, your calling, that's when greatness begins to multiply. That's why noise is so dangerous, because it doesn't have to destroy you to defeat you. It just has to distract you. The enemy doesn't always come to take you out. Sometimes he just comes to keep you busy, to keep your eyes off the mission long enough for you to waste years of your life. Think about it. How many times have you said you were going to do something and then hours slipped away because of noise? You say you write a chapter, but you got stuck scrolling. You say you make those calls, but you let somebody drama pull you in. You said you'd hit the gym, but you started watching a video and couldn't stop. And then you told yourself, I'll do it tomorrow. That's noise. That's how dreams die, not in one big explosion, but in 1,000 small distractions that slowly eat away at your focus until nothing is left. Noise is subtle. That's why it's so dangerous. If somebody came to your house to rob you, you fight back. If somebody came to destroy your dream outright, you resist. But noise comes in quietly, harmlessly, like it's no big deal. It's just a video. It's just a phone call. It's just an hour hanging out. It's just one day I skip. But one day becomes two becomes a week becomes a year. And suddenly the greatness inside of you is still in seed form because you never gave it the focus it needed to grow. You can't afford to let noise control your life. The people who win, the people who make history, the people who step into their greatness, they master their focus. They learn how to kill the noise, to filter out what doesn't serve them, to say no to things that waste their time. And it's not because they don't have distractions. It's not because they don't have noise. It's because their purpose is louder than their distractions. They made a decision that nothing would steal their focus. I need you to hear me. If you want to be great, you have to get serious about protecting your focus. You have to treat your focus like treasure. Every time you give it away to something that doesn't matter, you're spending your greatness on something that gives you nothing back. You can't build an empire if you're giving your focus to nonsense. You can't write the book, start the company, get the degree, build a legacy if you keep letting noise drain your energy. Noise doesn't always look like negativity. Sometimes noise is even disguised as opportunity. That's why you gotta be careful. Not every open door is your door. Not every chance is your chance. Not every voice deserves your attention. Sometimes good things can be noise if they take you away from the best thing. And if you're not disciplined, you'll chase everything and end up with nothing. Focus means being able to say, I don't have time for that right now. It looks good. It sounds good, but it's not aligned with where I'm going. That's how you kill the noise. And you gotta be ruthless about it. You can't be casual with your focus because casual discipline leads to casual results. You've gotta protect it like your life depends on it. Because it does. Your destiny depends on your ability to kill the noise. The future you want, the greatness you're chasing, the impact you're supposed to make, it all depends on whether or not you learn to guard your focus from distraction. Every great athlete, every great entrepreneur, every great leader, what separates them is focus. Talent is everywhere. Gift is everywhere. But very few people learn how to shut out the noise. Kobe Bryant didn't let noise stop him. He wasn't on the phone. He wasn't out all night. He wasn't chasing distraction. He was in the gym at 4 a.m. sharpening his gift. That's why we call him great. Beyonce didn't let noise steal her focus. She spent years rehearsing, practicing, perfecting her craft when nobody was watching. That's why the world knows her name now. They weren't more gifted than you. They weren't more special than you. They just didn't let noise steal what mattered most, their focus. So here's the truth. You can either keep feeding the noise or you can start feeding your greatness. You can either keep giving your attention that don't matter or you can lock in on the vision that does. You can either live distracted or you can live disciplined, but you can't do both. Greatness and noise cannot coexist. You gotta choose. You gotta choose. And don't wait until tomorrow. Don't say, I'll get serious next week. I'll cut out distractions next month. Every day you let the noise win. You give away a piece of your destiny. Every day you delay. You're letting the greatness inside of you stay locked up. Enough is enough. You gotta decide right now that you're done letting noise run your life. You're done letting distractions tell your story. You're done letting focus slip through your fingers. Because if you really want greatness, if you really want to step into the life you were born to live, you've got to be willing to sacrifice You've got to be willing to say no when it's uncomfortable. You've got to be willing to let go of people who don't support your vision. You've got to be willing to cut out habits that waste your time. You've got to be willing to turn off the noise and tune into your calling. That's the only way you'll ever embrace your greatness. If you're serious about stepping into your greatness, you can't just talk about it. You can't just write it down in a notebook or post a quote on social media. You've got to make some cuts. You've got to remove the habits, the people, and the environments that are not serving the version of you that you're trying to become. See, it's not enough to want greatness. You've got to create the conditions where greatness can grow. And that means some things, some people, and some places can't come with you. Some of you keep wondering why your life hasn't changed, even though you've got big dreams, even though you got vision boards, even though you got goals. It's not because you're not gifted. It's not because you don't want it bad enough. It's because you're still carrying dead weight. You're still holding on to habits that keep you stuck in the same place. You're still surrounded by people who don't believe in you, who don't push you, who don't inspire you. You're still in environments that suffocate your growth, that remind you of your past, that don't challenge you to reach higher. And you can't step into your future while you're still chained to your past. Let's talk about habits. Every single day, your life is shaped by the habits you keep. Success isn't built on one big decision. It's built on thousands of small ones that add up over time. And the truth is, some of your habits are killing your greatness. You can't keep staying up all night, sleeping in all day, wasting time scrolling, binge watching shows, eating whatever you want, skipping workouts, and then wonder why your life feels stuck. Those habits are noise. Those habits steal your energy, your focus, your discipline. And as long as you keep them, they'll keep you from becoming the best version of yourself. You gotta replace them. You gotta make room for new habits. The kind of habits that feed your mind, strengthen your body, sharpen your skills, and push you closer to your vision. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. Every habit either brings you closer to your destiny or pushes you further away. There is no neutral. Every time you repeat a bad habit, you're reinforcing the old you. Every time you commit to a new habit, you're building the future you. So the question is simple. Which version are you feeding? Which version are you killing? And then there are the people. Some of you are too loyal to people who are not loyal to your future. You keep holding on to relationships out of history, out of comfort, out of fear of being alone. But the truth is, some people are not supposed to go where you're going. They were part of your past chapter, not your future story. And the longer you hold on, the more they weigh you down. I'm not saying you don't love them. I'm saying you can't let love for people become the excuse that keeps you from loving your own purpose. Look around you. Who are you spending the most time with? Do they inspire you? Do they push you? Do they make you better? Or do they drain you, distract you, and keep you small? Because whether you realize it or not, you become like the people you spend time with. If you surround yourself with complainers, you'll start complaining. If you surround yourself with hustlers, you'll start hustling. If you surround yourself with dreamers, you'll start dreaming bigger. But if you keep surrounding yourself with people who don't want more for themselves, don't be surprised when you stop wanting more for yourself. Some people are not bad people. They're just not your people for this season. And you gotta have the courage to let go. You gotta be willing to walk alone for a while, if that's what it takes to get to where you need to be. Because it's better to walk alone with purpose than to walk with a crowd going nowhere. And when you let go, when you create space, the right people will show up. People who match your energy, people who share your vision, people who challenge you to level up. But they can't show up as long as your life is full of people who don't belong anymore. And then there's the environment. Don't underestimate the power of the places you put yourself in. Your environment shapes your energy, your mindset, your actions. If you stay in environments that are negative, chaotic, toxic, you will absorb that energy, whether you realize it or not. If you're always in places that remind you of who you used to be, it will be hard to step into who you want to become. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for your future is to change your environment. That might mean leaving your old hangouts behind. That might mean creating a new routine. That might mean finding spaces where people are growing, where energy is positive, where ambition is normal. Your environment can either pull greatness out of you or bury it. Think about a plant. You can take the same seed, but if you put it in poor soil, it won't grow. Put it in rich soil, give it light, water, space, and it thrives. It's not about the seed, it's about the environment. And you are the same way. Greatness is already in you. But if you keep planting yourself in toxic environments, in environments that don't feed your growth, you'll never see that greatness fully bloom. Cutting habits, people, and environments that don't serve you isn't easy. It hurts. It's uncomfortable. It feels like loss. But I need you to see that it's not loss, it's investment. You're not just cutting away. You're making room. You're making room for discipline, for focus, for relationships that elevate you. One of the biggest traps people fall into on their journey to greatness is waiting for somebody else to recognize them, waiting for somebody else to celebrate them, waiting for somebody else to clap for them. They do the work, they make progress, they push through the struggle, but then they pause. They pause because they don't hear the applause. They pause because nobody is patting them on the back. They pause because their family doesn't see the vision. Their friends don't get it. The world doesn't care yet. And that pause is deadly. Because greatness doesn't show up for people who wait for validation. Greatness shows up for the ones who keep moving, whether people notice or not. You've got to stop looking for applause. You've got to stop looking for someone to tell you a good job. You're amazing. Ooh, we're on the right track. You've got to clap for yourself. You've got to celebrate yourself. You got to remind yourself that you're doing the work, that you're growing, that you're getting better, even if nobody else acknowledges it. Because if your fuel comes from their approval, you'll always run out. But if your fuel comes from your own belief, you'll never run dry. Too many people waste years waiting for the world to see them. They want the promotion, but they won't give their best until the boss notices. They want the spotlight, but they won't practice until the audience shows up. They want support, but they won't move until the crowd gasps. That's backwards. The crowd shows up after you've done the work. The audience comes after you master the craft. The support comes after you built the foundation. You gotta keep going in silence. You gotta keep pushing in private. You gotta trust the process enough to clap for yourself when no one else is watching. Look, when I was homeless, nobody was clapping. Nobody was cheering me on while I slept in abandoned buildings, while I tried to figure out my life, while I pushed through the pain. When I was getting up at 3 a.m. to study, to hustle, to sharpen my mind, nobody was there to say, Eric, you're killing it. When I was putting out videos with just a handful of views, nobody was patting me on the back. But I didn't need them. I clapped for myself. I told myself, you're getting better. You're building something. This is worth it. And because I clapped for myself when no one else did, one day the world started clapping. But the world doesn't clap for you until you've proven you can clap for yourself. You gotta learn to validate yourself. Because here's the truth. Sometimes the people closest to you won't see it. Sometimes your family won't get it. Sometimes your friends will laugh at it. Sometimes your coworkers will doubt it. And if you're waiting for them to approve you, you'll never start. They can't see what you see. They can't feel what you feel. They weren't given your vision. That vision was given to you, which means it's your responsibility to believe in it, to invest in it, to nurture it, even when nobody else believes. Clapping for yourself doesn't mean arrogance. It doesn't mean pride. It means confidence. It means acknowledging the progress you've made. It means encouraging yourself in the struggle. It means choosing to focus on how far you've come instead of being paralyzed by how far you have to go. It means giving yourself permission to keep moving when the world is silent. Because silence is not rejection. It's just part of the process. Every great person had to walk through silence before the world took notice. Think about it. Michael Jordan didn't start with arenas chanting his name. He started with empty gyms, practicing when nobody was watching. Oprah didn't begin with millions of viewers hanging on every word. She started with small roles, local shows, where no one outside the city even knew her name. Steve Jobs didn't begin with the world lining up for iPhones. He started in a garage. No class, no applause, just work, just belief, just consistency. And because they clapped for themselves, because they kept moving without the noise of approval, the world eventually had no choice but to notice. Some of you are doing amazing things right now, but you can't see it because you're too busy looking for claps. You finished a class, clap for yourself. You started a business, clap for yourself. You got up early 3 days in a row, clap for yourself. You went to the gym when you didn't feel like it, clap for yourself. Progress is progress, no matter how small. And the more you celebrate those small wins, the more momentum you'll build. But if you keep waiting for somebody else to validate you, you'll never recognize the power of what you've already done. Stop scrolling, looking for likes to tell you that you matter. Stop posting, waiting for comments to convince you that you're on the right path. Stop chasing recognition, because recognition is not the same thing as greatness. Recognition is external. Greatness is internal. Recognition comes and goes, but greatness is who you are. And if you ever confuse the two, you'll end up empty even if the world claps. Because the same people who clap for you today might criticize you tomorrow. If you live for the applause, you'll die when the applause fades. But if you learn to clap for yourself, you'll keep moving regardless. The reality is, nobody owes you a clap. Nobody owes you recognition. Nobody owes you support. And that's not a bad thing. It's a freeing thing, because it means you don't have to wait. You don't have to delay. You don't have to pause until someone else notices. You can decide right now that your belief is enough. Your commitment is enough. Your drive is enough. And if the claps come later, fine. If they don't, fine. Because you didn't start this for the claps, you started this for your calling. So the next time you find yourself looking around wondering why nobody sees you, why nobody is cheering, I need you to stop. Stop looking around and start looking within. Remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself of how far you've come. Remind yourself of the dream inside you. And then clap. Clap like you've already won. Clap like the world is already celebrating you. Clap because you know what's coming, even if nobody else can see it yet. Because the truth is, if you can clap for yourself in the dark, you'll shine in the light. If you can clap for yourself in the struggle, you'll soar into success. If you can clap for yourself when nobody knows your name, one day your name will be known in rooms you've never even entered. But it all starts with you. It starts with your ability to validate yourself, to encourage yourself, to believe in yourself. Because if you won't clap for you, why should anyone else? Everybody's got an opinion about your life. Your family's got opinions. Your friends have opinions. Strangers online have opinions. Teachers, bosses, neighbors, they all think they know what you should or shouldn't be doing. And the crazy part is, most of them will speak with confidence like they know your destiny better than you do. But here's the truth. Opinions don't build dreams. Opinions don't create empires. Opinions don't fuel greatness. Vision does. And if your vision isn't louder than the world's opinions, you'll spend your whole life living for other people instead of living for your purview. You gotta understand something. People's opinions are cheap. They're easy. Anybody can sit on the sidelines and tell you what you should or shouldn't do. It costs them nothing, but it costs you everything if you let those opinions dictate your moves. Too many people never chase their dream because they let somebody else's opinion silence their vision. Somebody told them they weren't smart enough, so they gave up. Somebody told them it was too risky, so they backed down. Somebody told them they weren't ready, so they stopped trying. And all the while, the greatness inside them was screaming to be heard, but they couldn't hear it over the noise of other people's voices. You've got to decide whose voice you're going to believe. The voice of the crowd or the voice of your vision. The crowd said, be realistic. Your vision says, do the impossible. The crowd said, stay safe. Your vision says, take the leap. The crowd says, who do you think you are? Your vision says, you were born for this. Which one are you going to listen to? Because you can't follow both. The reality is, most people who give you opinions aren't even living their own dream. They gave up on their vision years ago. So now all they got left is advice for you. But you can't let broken dreams become the blueprint for your future. You can't let somebody who never took the shot tell you not to shoot. You can't let somebody who settled for average convince you that greatness is impossible. Just because they didn't believe enough in themselves doesn't mean you shouldn't believe in you. Your vision has to be so clear, so powerful, so loud that it drowns out every other voice. When they say you can't, your vision says you can. When they say you won't, your vision says you will. When they say it's not possible, your vision says, watch me. But for that to happen, you've got to feed your vision daily. You've got to keep it in front of you. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Remind yourself every single day why you started, where you're going, and who you're becoming. Because if you don't feed your vision, you'll starve it. And if you starve it, the opinions of others will always feel louder. Opinions are temporary. They change with the wind. One day they'll tell you you're crazy for chasing your dream. And the next day, they'll call you a genius once it works. One day they'll laugh at you. The next day they'll celebrate you. That's why you can't live for it. That's why you can't base your decisions on it. Because if you do, you'll be tossed back and forth like a leaf in the wind, never grounded, never steady, never true to yourself. But vision, it doesn't change. Vision doesn't care about the weather, the economy, or the crowd. Vision is steady. Vision is consistent. Vision is your anchor when the world's opinions try to push you off course. I've had people tell me I'd never make it. I've had people laugh at my dreams, tell me I was wasting my time, tell me I was too intense, too loud, too different. And if I would have listened, you wouldn't even know my name right now. But my vision was louder than their opinions. My vision told me that the world needed my voice. My vision told me that somebody out there was waiting for me to show up. My vision told me that if I kept grinding, if I kept pushing, one day I'd stand in front of millions. And that vision spoke louder than the noise of the crowd. That's what you need. You need a vision that speaks louder than fear, louder than doubt, louder than criticism, louder than rejection. Because people will reject you. People will doubt you. People will criticize you. But none of that matters if your vision is stronger. You can't stop someone who's obsessed with their vision. You can't break someone who's locked in their calling. Can't silence someone whose vision is roaring in their spirit day and night. That's why vision is everything. It's the volume that drowns out the world's opinions. But don't get it twisted. This isn't easy because the world will keep talking. People will keep doubting. Some of them will be the ones closest to you. They'll think they're protecting you. They'll think they're being realistic. They'll think they're helping, and it will hurt. It'll hurt when the people you love don't see what you see. It'll hurt when the ones you thought would support you are the first ones to laugh. But that's where you gotta dig deep. That's where you gotta remind yourself that your vision wasn't given to them. It was given to you. They don't have to see it. They don't have to believe it. They don't even have to agree with it because it's not their vision, it's yours. And the louder you let your vision speak, the quieter their opinions become. Not because they stop talking, but because you stop listening. You stop giving weight to voices that don't matter. You stop letting negativity live rent-free in your head. You stop letting other people's limits become your limits. And that's when everything changes. That's when you start walking different, talking different, grinding different. Because you're no longer living for approval. You're living for purpose. So here's the bottom line. You've got to turn up the volume on your vision. You've got to keep it so loud in your spirit that no matter what they say, it doesn't shake you. No matter how much they doubt, it doesn't break you. It doesn't break you. No matter how long it takes, it doesn't stop you. Because at the end of the day, the world's opinions don't determine your future. Your vision does. Everybody wants to be great until it's time to stop making excuses. Excuses are the biggest killers of dreams. They're louder than failure, louder than rejection, louder than doubt. You don't even need anybody else to tell you no because your excuses will do the job for them. The truth is, excuses are the language of average. They're the soundtrack of people who want success but aren't willing to pay the price. And as long as you keep singing that song, you will never hear the sound of your destiny. Excuses are easy. That's why so many people make them. I'm tired. I don't have time. I wasn't born with money, or nobody supports me, or the economy's bad. I don't have the connections. On and on it goes. But the question is, when are you going to stop? Because excuses don't change anything, don't make you better. They don't move you forward. They don't put food on the table. They don't put success in your hands. All they do is give you a reason to stay stuck. Every excuse you make is like turning up the volume on failure. It's like telling your destiny a day, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not good enough. And the crazy part is, the more excuses you make, the more you start to believe them. You build a prison out of your own words. You lock yourself inside a cage made of I can't and I'm not able. And after a while, you don't even need anyone else to stop you. You've stopped yourself. Listen to me, you can either have excuses or you can have results, but you can't have both. You can't talk about wanting success, wanting greatness, wanting freedom, and then let excuses run your life. Success demands sacrifice. Success demands ownership. Success demands you take responsibility for where you are and where you're going. And as long as excuses are louder than your hunger, you'll never go anywhere. Some of you have been carrying the same excuses for years. You've been telling yourself the same story over and over. I'll start when things calm down. Now I'll grind harder when I get a break. I'll be disciplined when I have more motivation. And every year the story stays the same. Every year you're in the same place. And deep down, you know it's not the circumstances holding you back. It's the excuses you keep feeding yourself. The most dangerous thing about excuses is that they feel justified. They make sense in the moment. They comfort you. They tell you it's okay to quit. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to wait until tomorrow. But comfort is a lie. Comfort keeps you broke. Comfort keeps you weak. Comfort keeps you from your calling. The people who win in life aren't the ones with the best conditions. They're the ones who stop negotiating with their excuses. They're the ones who show up no matter how they feel. Stop saying you don't have time. You have the same 24 hours as everyone else. The problem isn't time, it's priorities. Stop saying you don't have the resources. If you don't have resources, you've got to get resourceful. Stop saying you don't have support. Nobody is required to believe in you. Stop waiting for somebody to hand you a permission slip to your future. Excuses are lies you tell yourself to stay comfortable. And every time you tell one, you give up a little more of your greatness. I know it's hard. I know life throws obstacles. I know you've been hurt, abandoned, betrayed. I know the odds feel stacked against you. But let me tell you something. Your pain doesn't excuse you from your purpose. Your struggle doesn't excuse you from your destiny. If anything, it should fuel you. If anything, it should be the reason you push harder. Some of the greatest people who ever lived had every excuse to quit, and they didn't. That's why their names are remembered. Think about it. Every single person who's done something extraordinary had a list of excuses they could have used. They didn't have the money. They didn't have the connections. They didn't have the education. They didn't have the background.